most expensive thing I'd ever seen. It had 100 buttons on the front, a technological and heavy stunt. I threw the paper manual in the trash, along with all the cardboard and the ash. I pushed a metal plug into the wall and waited for the numbers just to fall. I stood right up to look at my success and saw a flashing digital distress stress. It's the blinking 12, the midnight curse. It's an head-turning headache and it's getting worse. I can rebuild an engine in the driveway dirt, but this black plastic box is making my head hurt. Stop flashing. I pressed the button labeled clock and said, the worst decision that I ever made. The hour started jumping up to 10, and then it rolled right back to 1 again. I held the button down with all my might to get the number turning out exactly right. It passed the 7 and it passed the 8. I took my finger off a second late. I had to go around the dial twice, a terrible and frustrating advice. I finally got it landing on the 3 and felt a rush of absolute victory. It's a blinking 12, the midnight curse. It's heading up, running headache and it's getting worse. I can rebuild an engine in the driveway dirt, but this black plastic box is making my head hurt. Stop flashing. I left the living room to get a beer, with nothing left to worry or to fear. But then the sky grew dark and brought the rain, a heavy thunderstorm across the plain. The power cut for just a second flat. I heard a pop and that was simply that. The lights came back and I looked at the shelf and started swearing loudly to myself. The 3 was gone and vanished from the screen, the worst disaster I had ever seen. The 12 was back and flashing in my face, a permanent disgrace inside the place. It's a blinking 12, the midnight curse. It's hitting up, running headache and it's getting worse. I can rebuild an engine in the driveway dirt, but this black plastic box is making my head hurt. Stop flashing. My wife walked in and asked me for the time. I pointed at the box without a rhyme. I said, it's midnight, honey, go to sleep, and threw my hands up in a heavy heap. I tried to take the football game at noon, but I was howling at a different moon, because the clock was wrong by 14 hours, and I recorded pictures of some flowers. The tracking dial didn't help a bit. The screen was full of static and of grit. I missed the touchdown and I missed the score, and threw the blank cassette upon the floor. It's the blinking 12, the midnight curse. It's in it edge on a headache and it's getting worse. I can rebuild an engine in the driveway dirt, but this black plastic box is making my head hurt. Stop flashing. I walked into the garage in the back and found a roll of tape completely black. I cut a square exactly half an inch and solved the problem in a heavy pinch. I covered up the numbers on the right and blocked the flashing from my line of sight. The machine still works to play a rental tape, and I am proud of my specific great escape. Put the tape over it. I don't need to know the time. I got a watch on my wrist, press play, adjust the tracking.
I bought a top loader from the local store. It weighed a ton and dragged upon the floor. I hooked the coax cable to the back and put a heavy VHS into the track. The salesman told me it was built to last, a piece of future coming very fast. He said, just read the book and set the clock. I took the cardboard box around the block. I pushed the power button with my thumb and stood there feeling absolutely dumb. A red display was jumping up and down, the most annoying feature in the town. It says 12, it always says 12. I'm putting this machine machine upon the bottom shelf. It flashes in the morning, it flashes in the night. A constant heavy symbol of a losing fight. Unplug it. I try to fix it on a Saturday. I push the rewind and I push the play. I held the channel button and the stop until I felt my temper start to pop. I found a little dot that said PM, a tiny little E, little light and Jim. I thought I had it figured out in a beat, a massive technological defeat. I set the timer for a Sunday show, a movie that I really wanted to know. I went to bed and left the tape inside with an enormous sense of father pride. It says 12, it always says 12. I'm putting this machine upon the bottom shelf. It flashes in the morning, it flashes in the night. A constant heavy symbol of a losing fight. Unplug it. Well, unplug it. I hit the play and looked at the TV and saw the morning news report at 3. I set it for the morning, not the night. I didn't get the AM, PM right. I got an hour of a weatherman instead of action in a foreign land. My oldest son came walking down the stair. He looked at me sitting in the chair. He pushed the sequence on the plastic face and put the proper numbers in their place. It took him 7 seconds at the most while I was eating my morning piece of toast. He didn't need a manual or a guide. He took my fatherly mechanic pride. It says 12, it always says 12. I'm putting this machine upon the bottom shelf. It flashes in the morning, it flashes in the night. A constant heavy symbol of a losing fight. Unplug it. But then the dog went running past the wall and tripped upon the heavy cable fall. The plug came out the socket with a crack and brought the flashing red disaster back. My son was gone to school across the street. I suffered my immediate defeat. I stared right at the blinking 00, a fallen technological dad hero. I left it flashing for another year, a constant warning that was very clear. A blinking beacon in the living room, a harbinger of electronic doom. We never knew the time inside that space. We had a clock upon the oven face. We just accepted that the box was boss and counted it a heavy daily loss. Leave it! Just leave it flashing! Don't touch the tracking! Did you rewind the tape?